heads, and as a result, I take the pistol.
Yeah, right. And Nav showing us that, Kevlar is actually not that all important, right? Especially at this level where headshots are pretty common occurrence, right? He was the man with all the utility for huat, and yet he still comes out on top with 3 kills. So, yeah, well done for Starlet. Running his stripes a little bit, but now, huat, they know that their opponent should be down to the eco, and yeah, they should be just them taking things pretty slowly. And I think this could be a common feature of the sort of huat side. Normally, they're a bit more passive towards ramp. This round, they know they're just up against pretty much nothing on the side of 100p, so they can take a bit more liberties in that regard. But I think once we see the gun rounds come out, right, huat side, they're content to play behind. They're content to give up ramp to the CTs, knowing that, if you do so, the CTs, you won't have much utility with near towards the end of the half, at the end of the round. But now, Redla pushing forward, sent in on scouting mission. And Moxie is still looking towards B stairs, although, yeah, they get a little bit punished for being overzealous. Bombs down though, so they should be the round regardless.
Yeah, a few Mac 10s lost for huat as they look to maybe farm up a bit more cash. Huratla just going on a bit of a journey, punished by Darkus around Maze. Still gonna have a crack at it for 100 ping. Don't know if exactly this is the best idea, but they're doing some damage for sure. Might be able to take away a few more guns if Nef's not careful.
I think he should.
I think Splash.
Splash
should go.
Yeah.
And Terry gets away with an AK. So all things considered, that's actually a very good round from 100 ping for huat. What was? Oh yeah, they get 2 picks there. They get the entry to the A site. That becomes very expensive. They lose a few players. Matter of fact, they lose 4 players. Have to completely reinvest, which means they have no bonus to go into for future rounds. Splashy's already gone in the AWP. So if 100 ping can actually use that AK and Terry, got a couple of Deagles as well to do some further damage. Keep the huat economy low. Gonna come into the first gun round feeling all sunshine and rainbows.
I guess it's a good test for 100p as well, right? Since you do like Vertigo quite a bit, why not, right? Why not give it a run out, right? Of course, there's 1500 USD on the line, but at the same time, like, you can get experience playing against a top tier opposition on a map that they themselves fancy. So Splash Domes Potato spills with the final frag as well. Will keep things clean on the side of huat. So despite losing 4 in the second round, they managed to build just a little bit of a bank for themselves heading into round number 4. But guns out for 100p.
Yeah, full set of util across the board. AWP as well in the hands of Potato, who was looking like he wanted to go for that ever since the second round, where he just bought a Deagle. I think nothing really backing that up, either no armor, no utility, which means he's going to be able to do a favor for the rest of the team. He buys an AWP, buys armor, doesn't have to ask his teammates to go missing, and he still has some kit to work with. Fantastic to see.
Redla, I think the smoke for shot actually misses, so maybe they might just want to get him off utility duty. Especially since he is the player that's coming in cold, right? But at the moment, 100p, Banana trying to hold his own in towards this shot position. The player will get tagged down a little bit, and that forces Neff to push forward right into the open arms of Banana. huat seems to be a straight up A commitment. All 4 members invested towards this part of the map already.
Still very difficult to dig out this position. All comes down to a bit of timing. Flashbang. Well, I would say it wasn't that effective. Banana actually turned away from it, but he still goes down at the end, as Rettler's able to make that entry pretty clean. Smokes are good for now, but double HE grenade on the stack. Oh, dodged nicely. There's a Molotov, but bomb's going to be... Bomb goes down, the Cinder grenade goes a little bit short into the smoke. Gets extinguished. 3 on 4. I don't know if you want to retake over here as 100 ping or if you decide to concede. I would say that you actually do need to back away and just save for the next one.
Yeah, WTT have just posturing and seeing if they can find anything, but Terry just walking out on his own before his teams can even swing, and well, this is just them picking one by one. This, well, systematic destruction for huat, despite going a man down. So 100p, these are the sort of rounds that you should be putting away, right? They carried over a Mac 10 into this round, and then they had the opener, but well, 100p decide to just offer up the A side, not even completely, right? They had a player fighting, which is why Spears was able to find that entry frag, and then the retake just felt completely off on the side of 100.
I feel like I don't think they should have even gone for the retake.
Yeah.
So that's just maybe getting a bit greedy, wanting to maybe try to steal away around, try to catch Huatsai off guard. But the problem with trying to retake A is you need a lot of utility to retake the site. You need a few smoke grenades. You need a bit more utility. I don't mind that from Darkus though. 1-for-1 trade. Nade stack as well if they are able to achieve something on the side of 100 ping.
But Redla, don't put up the B site. But they shouldn't. I mean, they do know that they are just up against the pistol, so likely course of action, just group up together or at least ensure that the players are in pretty safe positions, right? Spills is the exception to this because he was out here with Nav, and with his teammate falling, he will just take the liberties on his own. And Huatsai, past few rounds be pretty clean, right? I think 4 players standing in the past 2 rounds and 5 at the end of round number 3 as well. So building up a little bit of bank already. You can see Spills, $13,000. That's going to take some work on the side of 100p to even take down Huatsai onto an eco. So yeah, the odds aren't looking good already.
Second gun round though, so willing to always like to see teams maybe play 2 or 3 gun rounds before we make a final verdict. It was very clean on the first gun round for Huatsai where they're able to get the entries. Let's see how this goes around between Potato as well as Splash Gear this time around. Fox is just lurking over here, over at B, but I think they missed that Molotov.
Yeah, so a couple of missed grenades from Huatsai so far, but well, I don't think it cost them too much. Terry passively on that B site, and Huatsai taking the time as well, right? So this is what we talked about, them, being willing to play slow. At the same time, 100p, they haven't gone for a deep ramp take, right? There was no deep ramp smoke to start off the round, I presume. And now this is when Huatsai will start to make their way up. Justin to unload his smoke out of it. He's still a smoke left, but that's all he has.
Also the AWP in the hands of Potato at the moment. So utility being traded back and forth right now. Justin really wants to fight this. Does have the AWP, but Potato's got a very difficult shot to land. Especially if Neff decides to do this, the jump up. Can't really get the spray on the AWP up. At very least, Potato good for 1, but this is the problem with trying to contain A ramp sometimes. If you're outnumbered, outgunned, and outspotted as well, as the rotation is just being toyed with, it makes your, it makes your A site hold look very, very weak. And for 100 ping, just needs to go straight back onto the save. There's no way to go in for this. I really like how Huatsai are taking map control at the moment as well.
Yeah.
Gobbles, because they're using utility across the map. There's no real good tell for 100 ping exactly where the T side is setting up for, and then they just explode onto site, get a couple of clean kills, and that's it.
Yeah, I think at the same time, it feels a little bit janky on the side of 100p. Normally you don't like to see it when CTs decide to still stick around when there's the possibility of the terrorists being so close up at ramp, right? Especially with the possibility to jump up at sandbags, which is exactly what Nav did, right? It puts you in such a vulnerable spot. And 100p, maybe you have 2 options. You either go a bit more aggressive, get a better, deeper line, or you kind of have to fall back, or perhaps just try and hold down short. Never really like to see 2 players just standing out in the open like that. But Huatsai, credit where it's due, right? Being very systematic in their approach at the moment. You can see dumping utility across the board. And yeah, if on the side of 100p, there's no sure tell. Maybe this is why they need a couple of openers if they are pieced around together. Now back down to the pistols. AK for Darkus, so maybe sending him in for an aggressive maneuver. 2 players down in middle.
Yeah, catches Death off guard, but Spills. It's been pretty unkillable so far this half. It's only really gone down the single time. They just walk straight through that smoke, so no respect given to that one. A site actually free for the taking right now. There's no one over here. Eventually, they're just going to go for it. You have 4 members over here. You don't really have control over mid. You don't have control over any other side of the map.
I think Redler's just having a discussion time with his teammate there, asking, I presume this the conversation to go, do you know a nade for this? Nope. Do you know a nade for that? Nope. I haven't touched on good advanced speed.
You know how to nade sandbags? I think so. Oh, good. Not that hard. Just left click it. Left click in the sandbags. Okay, so...
I do know how to shoot though. Yeah, I do. Redler's response.
I like this open plant, and I like this better from Spills as well. Just covering off as well, making sure that there's no risk. Waiting for all the utility to be dumped. Still should be someone watching the flank at the moment. That's going to be Moxie. It's going to feel pretty good. He cleans up against a couple of Deagles, which is all that he's really good for these days. Can't do it against M4s, so he does it against Deagles.
Well,
I'm kidding. Don't hunt me down, Moxie. I'm kidding.
Again, there are a couple of Moxie fans in the chat, right? I think they're gonna be coming for you for that one. Oh well. Yeah, a couple of 100p fans in the chat as well, right? Time to see if your team can step it up. I think they do have it within them, right? Surely they haven't presented us with their full strength, their full capability on this map just yet. But yeah, I think it's in part because huat are making them feel quite uncomfortable as well. Right, stringing together 7 right off the bat. Potato trying to go for a bit of an aggressive maneuver up close with the op, but nobody's there to receive him. And you can see the player guarding middle, which is going to be Naf, is playing this very, very passively. And if you're on the side of 100p, it's a guessing game, right? Are they strongly defaulting towards A? Do they have stairs presence? At the same time, there's an op holding shot. Justin, first one down for the count.
Molly being used every single time at sandbags now, so Potato, it's a bit awkward warping this angle. It once again feels like very much a one and done position. Huat side, just drop a bit of A site utility, seeing if they can buy the rotation. Terry's not biting, he just decides to go straight for the peak. Works fantastically against Neff. Spills also gets killed. This is looking pretty good. Moxie's able to strike back on this 3-on-3.
Side taken now. 100p is gonna be tough retake to pull off, right? Unless Potato can find one before huat do get the bomb down, or if huat offer up a freebie, but it seems unlikely. When the bomb that over Nate's gonna be pretty good, I guess. Yeah, attack splash key down pretty low, but he's got the AWP, so it's quite redundant. Still will have space to fire a couple of shots. Darkest, ooh, catches splash key on the jump up, but unable to claim his life. Now he does. Moxie equalizer on the Darkest.
Very hard to flash off these angles. The crossfire's been set up as well. You can see it's just going to be the swing after the swing. Potato does well to at least get a kill, but 24 HP, a flashbang to work with, has a kit. Bombs planted for Retlar. Decides to use the molly, yeah. Molly and as well as the peak. There's not much you can really do. The molly misses, actually, so Retlar definitely struggling. He's finding this game a bit harder. Pretty easy to smoke in Valorant, not so easy to smoke over here. Have to know your lineups.
Well, I mean, for what it's probably just telling them just point and shoot, right? He's 7-2 right now. He's missed a smoke for short. His status
missed that molly.
Yeah, he's missed that molly. So yeah, better off just sending him in first, right? I mean, Retlar is an incredibly gifted aimer. As we said, his consistency is quite remarkable, right? So perhaps just use him to his strengths, right? Yeah, otherwise it can be doing more harm than good. This time, huat grouping up together, just silent contact with speed.
Terry's been pretty good at getting at least a couple of picks here and there, so should be rewarded. No, unfortunately not. Now he gets about 3-4 pieces of utility in his face. Make that 6, 7, maybe another flash. No, he's dead. How many smokes and HE grenades were thrown at him? Too many.
Yeah. 100p, there's no way they're getting back to the round, right? Still not a lot of utility left for huat, but it's just Eagles at the same time. M4 for Justin though, so he's gonna want to stay alive because his economy is completely off tandem with the rest of his team, right? So whilst the rest can afford to buy, he's probably have to go down to an SMG. Maybe screams for a bit of an aggressive play rep. So far, 100p have been incredibly passive, right? Ever since the pistol. I don't really like this coming out from them. I think they really do need to find an opening pick, and it's up to them how they want to channel it. What do you reckon, Kara?
I think the problem is, like, going on aggression means that you have to have the good utility backing this up as well. So you need to have that smoke come through. You need to know where these flashbangs go. So for Potato, you need to have utmost trust for your riflers, have the pinpoint flashbangs, have the best kind of swings in the world to make sure they can take out players. The problem is when you go for unchanneled aggression, you can see that the flashbang doesn't even touch Splash King.
But Neff's
already out mid. Like, there's no map control that's going on. They're just being torn apart at this point in time. Sure, there's this B-side play. You can see Moxie is trying to bait Terry into making a bit of an awkward push. Terry knows his time's limited. He has his flank pressure coming forward. He has the pressure coming through B main. Has to try to stand and fight. And once again, another really clean round for huat. It's 10-0 at this point in time.
Yeah. This is why don't pick Vertigo into the hands of huat. This is on the whole map. So yeah, granted they do have a stand-in, but Retlar, I think he knows a thing or two playing on huat. 100p though. Let's see if they can do anything this round. A couple of SMGs, maybe this is when they start to tilt just a little bit, right? You look at the run of rounds that huat are on. Almost all 5 players across having more than 10k on the board, and three of them actually maxing out. Darkest, again, a solo adventure out towards middle will get caught by Nav in the elevator position. 100p. This is starting to look a little bit grim. They showed us some glimpses of what they could do on Mirage, on Overpass, and they say that this is their map, and they love Vertigo. Yet to really show us what they can offer.
Great headshot coming out from Rattler. Yep, great headshot coming out. Unfortunately, that's to an ally at the end of the day. Potato decides to go for the drive-by, retrieves the AK, which is... We'll be able to retrieve it now. Pushes forward. How does he manage to get away with this? How does he get away with this at the moment? Justin's also chimed in at the same time. It's all down to Moxie fighting over multiple angles. A couple of HP members, but Potato just full sends it at this stage to win 100 ping the first round. It comes down to the pistols where they push through smokes and Hot Side don't look at it.
Oh.
Oh dear.
Moxie fans, where are you? Couldn't clutch out the 1 versus 3, but yeah, a couple of small mistakes being made by Huat. I think you wouldn't expect the player Potato to push outshot as well, right? It sounds like a ludicrous play to make, but well, I mean, this is the one time out of probably a million times it works. But you know, for the fans watching this, don't try this at home, it has to be said.
Good stuff from Banana as well, uses that spawn. So a bit of a change up now for 100 ping, which is good to see. Like to see some livelihood in terms of the gameplay. And I do agree with that. Like that play was so low percentage that it just worked out. It just goes all the way around into being high IQ. Which I don't really mind at the end of the day. You do need to take some of your chances to make it work out.
You are down 10-1 as well. Man advantage.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, what's I? Cutting noise, and it's very passive on A, right? Potato's just playing retake now. But what's I? They've been able to get up towards short. And well, they do have enough utility still to piece together a half execute, right? The standard smokes, the shallow set. But if Splashy can find this opener, then 100p, you're in trouble.
Yeah, Potato can't really, Darkest actually with the AWP, can't really aggress out like that right now with the AWP. So he's going straight back towards jump up.
Last smoke. It's incredibly shallow.
Rattler's just pushing through the smoke because why not?
Wow.
Pretty regulation wallbang from some of the T-side members these days, where you really want to push away one of these people. But this is what I mean by making the aggressive plays. You can only do so much before you can't get away with it anymore. See Darkest completely separated from his teammates. Moxie and Smashy just going to play the 100%. You expect these two guys to know pretty well how to play this. Terry needs to accelerate on the back of that Molotov. You can't let it sit there and do anything with it. Unfortunately, just for White side, just patience is the aim of the game.
11-1. 100p still do have enough to bolster yet another buy. Dark is the only player who will have to take a sacrifice. No, in fact, Terry, being the team player, drops and then 4 over, which means he will have to take some sacrifice in terms of utility, but freeing up his teammates to play a little bit more freely. What's I think, yeah, this should be them just slowly feeling more and more comfortable as the game goes on, right? I think the rounds in which they're winning, right? That round, again, recovering a man disadvantage. Now, Nav, he's allowed a player to slip the net into a ladder room. I think his shoulder.
Yeah, I think his shoulder spotted at the end of the day. That's some good stuff for Potato. Double man spray down. That's something that 100 ping desperately needed. Now they can't give away this advantage. They know there's one at ladder. You can see how carefully it's being guarded. That definitely Neff spotted out the shadow. Now this smoke should favor Rattler. It should.
And it will.
There you have it. Shown. What a game where you just sit in a smoke that rewards you more than if you're sitting outside the smoke. But that's Banana's fault for sitting there, thinking that you're pretty safe with that smoke grenade, not waiting for it to jiggle, or not waiting to jiggle it after the smoke fades.
Or what happens sometimes is, I mean, because he has an op, he's able to do that, right? But some players with the M4, you just spam it a little bit before it begins to actually fade. That way you can get the audio cue if there's someone actually sitting within that smoke itself. Splash key, posted up on the angle, and Darkest, takes the fight. It still comes out on top. Outside, now making their way up short. All 4 players, in fact, from both sides are here. But what's I they've cut noise again, walking through the smoke perhaps? Redler, not again, surely.
Surely, I don't think he can get away with this. He might just.
Might.
He doesn't get away with it. Thank goodness for that. 19 seconds. Neff can't actually rotate out, and he's made noise with that HE grenade as well. Doesn't know where the other CT member is. So 10 seconds left. He needs to go fight. Pretty much win these duels. I don't think he's going to be allowed to plan. Someone's going to swing out. There you have it. Good start from 100 ping, especially from Darkus.
But a missed shot as well from Splash Key, right? That I think he should have had that all day, Darkus. I guess, you know, a bit brave, but if he peeked and then he went down, you're thinking, you know, should have probably called for a flashbang for a teammate, right? Sometimes, well, not really the best way that they could have played it. I still believe from 100p, small mistake still, but what's I guess to the team to miss a couple of shots and make a couple more mistakes in that. Now 11-2, they can still buy out both sides. What's I they've got enough money for the entire half, right? So it's a question of whether or not they can break the economy of 100p just one more time, because winning this round will certainly do the trick. But yeah, now it's a more standard default coming up from what's I, no longer just running out middle.
To be fair though, for Huatsai, you've already done enough to get 11 rounds. I don't think you've really, like, any more rounds at this stage is icing on the cake. If you end this half at 13-2, it's just such an indomitable lead where what do you do with it at this point? The good thing for 100p is, at the very least, they've got Banana at sandbags. This time it's not been mollied out. There is a player guarding it. Potato can't get away with it. Now sandbags being mollied. Insta trade. It's going to call the rotation. And for Huatsai, still dumping a bit of utility. I would have just liked for them to go straight in, or to back off straight to B.
They do still have a bit looking out middle late, right? I think that's going to be Moxie guarding B, in fact not looking out middle. So they do have utility for a second wave as well, right? 2 smokes remaining, a couple of Molotovs still. So yeah, they're not too fussed about this round, Huatsai. And in fact, perhaps they're rotating back to B. You can see especially beginning to leave his mark, and Neff I think he'll just be play on a solo mission up towards A along with Spews. And one side they want a 200 IQ, 100p, and I think they're doing a pretty good job at that because all 3 players have arrived on the site for 100p. It'd be incredible if one side still managed to get all the kills. No, nope, Spews.
That should be, yeah. It should be the giveaway there. As soon as Spills goes down, there's only one person facing it. It should instantly be, oh, they're going to be inside B spawn, inside B site, and Moxie is caught out in spawn, making it a bit harder now for Huatsai to actually take this round. So you can talk about 100%ing it. This is definitely not the way to be doing it. Splash key. Won't be drawn out by the shoulder. Has a crossfire potential. Both CTs going to be at jump up, coming in together.
And they're going to be low as well. Be a pretty easy round in the end. Darkus as a kid, but no smoke and no information as to where the last remaining players are, right? Can afford to tap it. I don't think he has time for it. But Nav, ooh, okay. Darkus gets the adjustment. But yeah, ultimately the round still goes in the favor of one side. So yeah, a couple more rounds on top of the 11 that they managed to get. And this last round, if you're 100p, what do you decide to do? Right, it's a couple of SMGs, back down to the SMGs. Single for Mars on Justin, but yeah, then again, you probably require some heroics if you are able to, if they are to get themselves up to 3 rounds. Maybe still giving themselves a fighting chance in the second half, who knows? But at the moment, it's kind of been almost all one side.
Even if you look at the rounds that they took for the side of 100 ping, it was individual heroics on one of them. Other round it was pistols, and Potato just, well, individual heroics once again, just swinging straight out through a smoke.
Yeah.
Just doesn't work for a well-constructed Vertigo side. Unfortunately, just hot side a little bit better with the utility, just punishing the economy quite heavily. Doesn't help when you do miss by occasionally for 100 ping, but they had enough buy rounds that you can comfortably say that, once again, if this series goes down, if these guys play this series again and again, you'd be favoring Huatsai 90% of the time, 100% of the time. Just the way that they're playing it, just the way they're taking map control, how they're understanding how to take the sites, how to rotate. It's in their favor.
Good learning experience as well, I guess, from 100p, right? So now just sending in players and Neff, a couple of easy frags to mop up to half, 2 kills. Nice headshot at the end, and you can see, right, on sort of Huat side, all the players stepping up, all players remaining positive. So Moxie, this I don't want to say this, a couple of Moxie fans in chat still, but yeah, first time he's been positive, I think, in the day. But then again, right, his team's performing exceptionally well. There's no need for him to even do anything. Redla coming in, pretty hot still. But now Huat side on the CT side, I think they're just gonna push it. Yeah, there's no reason for them to just play from behind and wait for 100p. I think they're gonna take the fight to them.
Yeah, hot side just going to be flashing in a ramp, spot out all the members over here. They're going to instantly construct themselves a pistol round, making sure they're getting themselves in some strong positions. Rettler's going to be dinked out, so Smoke's also coming across. Molotov actually not taking down Rettler so far. Splash Key playing at the edge of the smoke, making it very difficult for the CTs to try to find his little head. But a 4-on-4. Post plant for the CTs. They don't have any utility. They're definitely getting pushed out right now. And there you have it, 100 ping. Just like that, clean up the pistol, buy themselves a little bit more time. But Huat side, you can definitely say they're going to be forcing up into this.
Yeah, for sure. Don't think... There's no way, yeah. Spills should bought up the Deagle, and yeah, armor's going to be purchased up as well. They should know, I mean, 100p with the bomb down and with a relatively clean round, right? I think the buy is looking pretty good, right? 2 AKs out, a Galil, 1 Mag 10 and UMP and a host of utility on top of that, whereas for the side of Huat side, it's only a smoke and a flash, and that's already been dropped here by Moxie out on the stairs.
It's a pretty niche angle for Moxie as well. He actually does manage to get a tag through a potato through the edge of that little wooden wall. So he hears something, decides not to over-aggress. Might be fighting a bit more than he can chew. Flashbang comes forward. Very close to finding that shot through the smoke.
Well, Terry playing with his prey. Redla, back turn, and this is gonna be the A side open. So now Huat side, where do you decide to get in towards? Spills late on arrival will get taken out as well. And just like that, despite having the opener, Huat side dropped the round. But I mean, it's not as though they're gonna start feeling panicky on their side, right? You still got what, 10 round advantage. It's gonna be 9 after this. The eco next round as well, so 100p to get themselves a good fight before the guns come back out. But yeah, I don't think you're gonna start fearing on the side of Huat side. Maybe if the scoreline gets to around about 13-8, 13-9, that's when you start saying, right, let's just tighten it up. Let's just close out the game. Don't give them an opportunity for comeback. 100p, if they start feeling a bit of momentum though, they can start. I think it improves the players' decision making as well, right? If they start hitting their shots, the comms get hyped out, then that's where they can shoot a couple more rounds as they did against Expendables just earlier on as well. Let's see how they perform in this. It's just gonna be pretty much the full eco. Eagle once again on spills, splash key, but again, nothing too much to write about.
Oh, but the Deagle's already lost, so... I mean, the difference here is 100 ping, then as long as they keep multiple members alive, especially like that, it just means it's going to be much more beneficial when it comes to those buy rounds where they lose a few members, they can reinvest in the AKs. We always talk about utility being very important on Vertigo. You want to buy yourself a big chance on that comeback. Well, this is actually the time to do it. T-side Vertigo has been the flavor recently for a lot of these teams. A bit easier to dictate, a bit easier to actually get the entries, especially if you are playing on 100 ping for 2 of these members on 100 ping. And there you have it. Pretty clean anti-eco. Money across the board. Huat side though will be able to have the buy, but it's not going to be the best buy. Spills does not have enough smokes for incendiary grenades for flashbangs, and that's about it actually. Only one person being a bit irresponsible. That's Spills.
I think it's the only player I've ever seen to prioritize a HG grenade over a smoke or 2 flashes in the event where you have $400. But well, saying that, 100p instead of accelerate things towards the A ramp. Once they wanted to stick around and fight, but flashes are not so good from Splash Key. Redla will straight from Spills, and now Terry stretches the legs of 100p just a little bit. They have you have things going in your favor now. There's no need to overextend, no need to overcommit, right? You started off the round fast, but now that you've got the advantage, slow it down. The flash is gonna be decent, but not good enough. Banana playing up close will catch Nev off guard. Splash Key still on site with the AWP.
Yeah, very well constructed A-ramp take. That's looking a lot better. Even
shot.
that, icing on the cake for the Mac 10. Moxie just showing to be a bit more washed up, as we all expected. Actually now very aware of the lurk potential. Justin as well, just playing with his food. Like seeing that from 100 ping.
Yeah.
Looking much better as soon as they jumped to that T side. For huat, completely blinding out on the A side take. No way they can fight A ramp like that.
They may be on 5 ping, but when the flashes are good, and when the team flash isn't that great either, then things are gonna be a little bit tougher. You can see Spills only getting flashed by Splash Key that round, forced him to fall back, but when you're full white, you don't necessarily know where you're going, right? There is a bit of muscle memory involved, right? But sometimes there are small bits and pieces where you have to get past. I think Spills was stuck on the ledge. Moxie was casualty of the round, and huat deciding to turtle up into its middle. Right, this is the best shot, right? If they stay at rampant fight, I think it's gonna be quite difficult for them, unless you pull off a round like Potato into its shot. But huat trying to take the initiative, sending Splash Key on a bit of a solo mission.
Should be compromised pretty quickly though. I feel like Dark is definitely pretty solid at checking a lot of these corners, a lot of experience inside the game. Not only in CSGO, but in other variants as well. I don't mind teams actually fighting close at A ramp. It's just the way that you do it. You have to fight a lot more at short. You have to fight a lot more further back as well. So I don't know, maybe just Vertigo's that T-side map. Now huat not looking to crash hot. Admittingly though, only having a single gun round so far.
Yeah.
100 ping looking much cleaner. Obviously coming down from a 213.5, getting the pistol very important. Now they're starting to roll ahead with that advantage.
This is kind of how fast things can go, right? Off the back of pistol win, right? You rightly pointed out, right? 100p, they've only had one rifle round to contend with, and just like that, they're already up to 7, right? 5 rounds off the back of a single pistol win, right? Granted, they had to do a bit of hard work in putting away the force buy of huat, but then again, you compare it with the buy now, it should be relatively straightforward, unless, you know, a couple of players go a little bit crazy. Now though, full set of utility being purchased up, the exception of Splashy, but he's got the AWP, so maybe he wants to go a bit aggressive. I think he has a couple of tricks up his sleeve, right? A one-way into its ramp, a deep line into its forklift room. See if he decides to bring it out this round. It will be just Moxie alone on that B side, so a heavy A presence to kick things off, but a very passive stance still. Across the board.
huat have to be cautious though. They have lost the A-ramp take, which is why they're being very, very precautionary this time around. Only a single person over here, Terry, trying to sell something. If he's able to, or I mean, Banana's supporting him. If Terry goes down, that's obviously not going to be ideal for 100 ping. They're still trying to isolate, maybe get a pick on the back of Justin, having that AWP on that B site. Moxie just dancing around, needs to be cautious. Darkus retrieves the package, and now 100 ping going to start routing back to the B site. Lots of time left for them to work with, which is a good thing.
But they've lost quite a bit of their utility, right? 100p. They've only got 1 flash left, so yeah, the execute is going to be pretty easily repelled. Oh, they actually speed things up. Justin leading the troops in with the CC. How's he so up close already? And with Moxie going down, that can't afford to overextend. Finds one, can drop the incendiary to deny the plant.
That's going to spread.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so low. They're fighting close at Gen. This is such an awkward fight. Lots of players inside the smoke. Potato able to get away with slapping a new one in. Where's Terry? That's the real question right now. He's over there at B stairs. He's been spotted out. Terry's no more.
No, that's what it has to be. Yeah, actually spawns out the shoulder of Potato, and well, 100p, there was a bit of a pace change, right? I think even Moxie himself was a little bit unprepared, right? 100p, they had just 1 flash, and however the flash sunk, Moxie caught full blind on sight. Justin up close with the CZ as well. Does a lot of damage, but unable to chase down Nav. I think that was the demise of the round, right? If they were able to capitalize off that pace, and they actually push slightly further, catching the play in Generator, then the retake would be completely denied on the side of huat. But instead, Nav finds one, able to drop the incendiary, which forces 100p into a bit of a kerfuffle, right? Not really sure of their positioning on site, and eventually huat able to pick up the round, and yeah, with that put themselves on 14, again doubling the score of 100p.
Now taking this mid control off huat at this stage as well, taking it very, very fast early on Moxie. High flashbang coming forward. So sure, 100 ping, a lot of mid control, but where do you go from here? Lots of cheeky angles as Terry decides to just piece it out. See you later. Where is he gone? Where did he die? Oh. Did he run into his own Molotov? Did he fall off the map? Who knows?
Oh. Well, you could have rebuilt that, but Darkness has snuck up into the elevator room. Rattler on the line though. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? Considering how much map control 100p had, especially towards middle. Now, Specialist puts it up short with the AWP. However, 100p once again going back into its speed. They want to give Moxie a bit of a tough time. Let's see if the man himself can step up to the task.
Close range, good for one. Should be traded out though. Potato does pretty well. Gonna be torched a little bit by that Molotov. Waiting for that flashbang to explode off. Potato can't win that first engagement against Neff, even though it looked like he was pretty favoured to do so. And Neff actually cleans things up. So huat have managed to make it into map point so far in their opponent's pick of Vertigo. 100 ping though, definitely coming back a bit stronger on this T side, but it looks like that train has now been shut down in terms of steam. They still have a buy though.
So, well, did you decide to go for a bit of a switch up, right? The past couple of rounds, ever since huat have gotten guns out for the second rifle, the 100p have decided to slow things down just a little bit, especially at the start of the round. Now it's going to be a lot more aggressive into the ramp. huat though, very, very passive and dropping their incendiaries very early on. But the players kept them close. Yeah, that'll be Potato untraded. Justin trying to hunt, but Spills and Rattler go incredibly sharp, and this will be just them stomping that ground. Darkest, well, a couple of additional kills won't too bad, won't hurt his motivation at all, but it should be, and it will be, huat taking away map number 1. So all things considered, pretty convincing showing, right? Losing the second pistol, allowing the opponents to string together a run of 5 rounds,